This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28. And I'm going to start, the point is verse 15, and it reads, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kodesh Brakatham. Double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. I want to say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I say shalom to the Akim and the Aqua out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, in the land of other nations appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's your brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit. Shalaki through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. This lesson is in regards to article I saw on my Newsbreak app, and I started with that scripture because it says, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is the wicked ruler. So is a wicked ruler over the poor people. And who is considered the poor in the scriptures? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. You are God's chosen people, and you're considered poor. Brothers bringing that out of the camp. He's talk about the poor of this world, but rich in faith. Then in Revelations, talk about rich but poor in spirit. So you see the contrast. The riches on this side in this world are not true riches. And that's why the scriptures tell you in the book of Matthew, store up your riches in heaven, because we're about to come to a time like that devil, Klaus Schwab said, you will own nothing. The government basically is taking over everything and taking back everything. They don't want you to own nothing. You won't even own your own life, your liberty, so let alone property. So what would be beneficial for you is to have hope, because hope and faith are synonymous. But when nobody has, or when these people in the world that just believe in these carnal things, what's going to actually keep you from succumbing to that hour of temptation? The belief and hope and faith in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, which these people don't have any hope or faith, and that's why they're going to be destroyed. So I'm gonna bring out a little bit of this article because again, it's deep, because they already coming with more unrighteous decrees. We know this devil is the father of all that. By his policies, he weaponizes his policies or his laws as well. They don't go by the policies, Salakia, the laws of the scriptures. Although, and that's what makes this man an extra devil. Man, because out of all the people, all the heathens, he called and proclaimed himself to people of the Bible to literally not actually utilize the scriptures. He judges based on his own emotions, his own carnality, and to show you how he never really believed in the scriptures. That's why, America's only been around since 1776. So that's a short amount of time. Yet and still, if the Bible was really literally the foundation of this place, you wouldn't have LGBTQ and all that, the alphabet situation. You wouldn't have the demoralization that goes on in the world. It's amazing because you got individual like that female Sexy Red, or your Megan Thee Stallions or Cardi B's that's polluting the youngsters, and that's deemed as empowerment, women empowerment and whatnot. But what we do, and which is actually a labor and an act of love, is deemed as hate. This devil truly has turned the things upside down, turning the things upside down. So this reads, Ohio prisons could become even more Ohio prisons could become even more crowded under proposed bill. And this is more so concerning to us because we are the brothers out of GMS Cleveland. So we in the state of Ohio, the city of Cleveland, and this affects our state. Which if people weren't aware, I think Texas is the state that has the most prisons in America. Well, Ohio is the second most prisons. That's factual. And then a lot of brothers wasn't aware, but it's something that they always said about Ohio. Ohio is shaped like a badge. So, with whatever these devils got proposed, is of course, I mean, through the spirit, I already know it's going to affect Ohio, especially Cleveland, because that's why you got that devil talking about some 15-minute city. That Justin Bibbs character, this young guy that came out of nowhere, but come to find out who he's related to and all that. Probably, I'm sure he's affiliated and secretly part of some society, from maybe a Freemason to some kind of, because there's so many secret societies, But anyhow, he's pushing that agenda because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised, because at the end of the day, it's a Federal Reserve here. But not to digress. It says a proposed bill in Ohio House would send more people to the state's already overcrowded and understaffed prisons. So this need to be brought up, because why? Why would more people go to jail when you would think, being that the jails are overcrowded, that you would actually put more programs in place where people would get probation or, get help, as opposed to being sent to, to prison. The criminals this legislation target should be there anyway, bill sponsor says. Ohio's prisons are meant to hold roughly 38,500 people. We are about 6,000 people above that mark right now. Gary Daniels with the ACLU of Ohio said they are understaffed by roughly 2,000 people. So it's more prisoners than you got staff to control the prisoners. So, I can imagine the spirit that's in there. Daniels is worried that a new bill will make it worse. House Bill 230 would increase the penalties and change the quantities required for trafficking fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, and meth. So basically, they probably gonna make a smaller amount more punishable to incarceration. The bill was, now it's funny though, like I said, they don't let people get hooked to these drugs, you know what I mean? And then, usually it's supposed to have been treatment before incarceration, but you got to understand, you about to have all these, migrants here, and, this is a whole big clusterfuck. The bill was introduced by State Rep Sidney Abrams and DJ Swearingen, Republican Huron. Abrams formerly served as a police officer in Cincinnati. Swearingen is an attorney who focuses on business law. Essentially, everything there is to not like about the failed war on drugs appears somewhere in the House Bill 230 added. The intention is to put more people in prison. Right. And they already know what they're doing to show you the intent of the devil, because during hard times, people escape those hard times by doing drugs. That's why when they had everything locked down, they allowed the liquor stores to stay open and operate longer. They shut down the bars, but they allowed the liquor stores to remain operating longer. Because liquor stores used to close at 10. Now I think they stay open to 11. It says depending on each respective amount. That's why, like, when you go into the Great Depression and you had prohibition, with the alcohol, like, and basically the government, it wasn't really about you drinking. It was more so the government wanted to control it. Like, they want to control everything else. Because when you go into government, gov is control, mint is your mind. They want to control you. You know what I mean? So they wanted to control, because that's a hell of a source of income. And that's why bootleggers made so much money. It was the government really targeting them. You know what I mean? Just like with the lottery. The lottery was basically like the numbers game. You had, when you go into like certain movies like what was that? Hoolum, or even Harlem Nights. They showed how Jake was running the numbers and shit like that. Even in Malcolm X to show you that. Like, remember the guy that Malcolm X worked for, I can't think of his name, but remember he tried to kill Malcolm X because the dude that he worked for, he never wrote nothing down. He always remembered whatever number you played. He had a hell of a memory. And basically, him and Malcolm X, basically, he made a bet with Malcolm, and Malcolm won the bet. Now, I don't know. I think Malcolm did really win. But long story short, it was all about his reputation. So he tried to, because he forgot, And I think at the, like, because I know the Jake died and Malcolm showed up right before he died, or showed up to his funeral or something like that, while he was on his deathbed. So it's essentially everything there is. I read that part. Depending on each representative amount, quantities that used to be lower level felonies will all be upgraded, and prison sentences will be longer. It will also increase sentences for where the drugs are sold. So basically, you already got an overpopulated prison system, and they know people are about to be turning up by getting high because economic times about to get harder, and they're looking to basically profit off this shit. Because your tax dollars go to housing and feeding and basically pay for a prisoner being incarcerated. Now, tax dollars pay for that, but then, you got private prisons. That's how much money. No, who got a lot of money in private prisons? Y'all idol Michael Jordan. Fucking devil. He makes money off the blood, sweat, and tears. And then we all know that this prison system is basically corrupt as well as not perfect. It's a lot of innocent people locked up. That's why every year it seems like somebody they talk about basically was wrongfully incarcerated. It's not even about your innocence. It's more so about, the prosecutor won the case and the attorney won the case. So to the point where you'll have the prosecutor and the attorney actually working together. So they'll be sentencing people will be going to jail, and this is factual. It says traffickers need to be held responsible, said Jane Hanlon with the Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association. We don't want these people by our schools, by our children, by these rehab facilities, Helen said. But then how do they get most of these drugs in? Through the cooperation of these people that work at these facilities. Like the COs, these people that's actually, this shit is so full of shit. People who are dealing in high level fentanyl, methamphetamines, cocaine, they don't use those substances because they know what they do, she said. How does she know that though? That's just like the job I work at. You got individuals that's the execs that don't work on the production floor, so they want to go buy material that's actually cheaper, but it doesn't really benefit because it's making it hard to produce the product. A person on the outside looking in, only the people that's actually dealing with the situation actually will know. You know what I mean? So it's just funny to me. It says those people are just purely profiting off the addicts in our community. The bill does not change the law around low-level drug dealers. This is because the state has no intention of punishing addicts more. The prosecutor added, they are looking to incarcerate the people who buy one piece and sell. They aren't looking to incarcerate the people who buy one piece and sell one piece just to feed their own addiction, she said. She added that, yes, it will incarcerate more people for good reason. There are some people who should be in prison. Yeah, but how can you differentiate that? This just screams at the end of the day, and this is meant to basically get Jake. Now, the thing is, a lot of Jake ain't fucking with that, that heroin, that dog food. They don't fuck with that. That's more so attacking Esau. And that's why a lot of the elder brothers go into how, the crack epidemic fucked us up, our people. And now this is the Most High judging Esau back because, even Dave Chappelle made jokes about it, talking about, the heroin addicted, whites, some shit like that. I forgot how he put it, but he was talking about the buckshot. He was like, the buckshot. He's like, that's deer shot and that's buckshot. Well, how do you say it's buckshot and deer shot? He was like, you got one picture with a duck and one picture with a deer. But anyhow, he said basically he went and got that gun and some bullets because it was a white person walking on his land, on his property. He was talking about how 3 addicted whites or something like that. Point being, this is going again, you got people that do this, but who's to say if basically you saying more, getting caught with less will require more time. Like I said again, this shit going, like I said again, you already got an overstressed prison system. So, I'm gonna read this. Here in Ohio, we experience an awful lot of problems in our prison system because of the overcrowding. There's medical problems, there's maintenance problems, there are these aforementioned staffing problems, Daniel said, but again, there seems to be no contemplation with regard to House Bill 230, how it's going to add to these problems, and it certainly will add to these problems. Again, I remember like in our city, at one point you had if you did a misdemeanor crime, you stayed in the city jail, and then if you basically facing a felony, you would go to the county. Well, now they put misdemeanor offenders along with, felony, convictions, So this man might be in here for something, serious, domestic violence or assault, while this man might be in here for some traffic shit. He might have had an accumulation of traffic tickets he couldn't pay. So he's got to stay in there overnight till he see the judge, which might be in a couple days, a week, whoever, especially if you got old warrants or something like it, some traffic warrant. You might have to go sit in the county because they basically got rid of our city jail. What kind of problems would that lead to? You got to remember, it's at certain dorms, they give you a certain amount of time to be out amongst the pod to get out the cell. So, again, I can only imagine, and that's unrighteous at the end of the day. This is the book of Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25, and it reads, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. So basically this devil is, because at the end of the day, he's literally trying to do this to generate income. Again, every time a person gets a number, a prison number, that's like 38,000. It's like close to 40,000 if I'm not mistaken. That's what they charge the taxpayer each year. Each year, not just one lump sum. Like I think it's this each year. So, if you're going to get more people convicted, they trying to scramble up ways to bring in more income, because you got to understand the economy is based off. We have basically economy that's based off the workers. Well, if the workers are starving and they not spending no money, the government got to literally figure out a way to, because they taxing. That's why you got the Biden with this whole paying for all these, recruiting all these tax collectors. And then the funny part, that's how you know it's going to be more to it, because the tax collectors, they're allowing them to be armed, but they also going to use a software, they're going to use AI to basically check the taxes. So why did you hire all these tax people then? These tax enforcers. There's more to it, It says, in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And that's going into Antiochus, I believe, Epiphanes. But, the policies is basically he going to, play with the laws, This is the book of Psalms chapter 94. In verse 20, and it reads, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? So they passing this bill, what's that, House Bill 230, to basically, rearrange the possession amount as far as how's it viewed as a felony of a fifth degree or a misdemeanor, because, like paraphernalia can be considered a misdemeanor, you know what I'm saying? Now, after so many charges, you might be facing a felony, or you may do some time, depending on the judge, it's at their discretion. But this is a wicked-ass decree, because, again, these people study everything. It tells you how the devil did the diligent search. So he already understands that people are going to try to escape. They live in hell, because, everybody's talking about how fucked up America is. Like I said, when you go look at the numbers of shit, people drinking more, all that. Certain things are going to be sold regardless. Like alcohol, you go into the liquor store right now, you're going to see some proud ass nigga. I know this liquor store that I tend to go to is in the hood, and Jake so far up Ishmael's ass. It's either Ishmael or Elon, but long story short, they literally and Ishmael might be fucking with Jake. Ishmael give Jake some crumbs. Ishmael really don't respect Jake. They might respect him more than Esau, but then again, like you say, Ishmael, like I said, Ishmael on some nigga shit too, they, like just how Jacob fuck with Esau just to get some money. That's how Ishmael is, Verse 21, well, that's the point, He frameth mischief by law. The laws that he creates are set up to hurt a certain demographic of the planet. And like I said again, if they changing the, the amount that you can basically possessed before it becomes a felony, who is that going to affect? That's going to affect Jake more so. That's just like when they had the whole laws for the crack epidemic. If you got caught with, powder or cocaine, it was probationable. You might get some treatment. But if you got caught with crack, it could be a couple stones. It could have been a couple crack rocks. And you had dudes doing 5 years for 2 or 3 crack rocks. You know what I mean? And that's proving the point that how this devil manipulates his law to affect Jake, but allow his own people to, skate through it and get a slap on the wrist. You got that going on right now. You got the Edomites get caught with heroin. They motherfucking go up under they get a treatment program as opposed to Jake getting caught with the fentanyl. They, doing 5 or 10 years and just, it's ridiculous. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2, and it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Skipping down to verse 16, when the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. And the wicked are multiplied right now, it tells you that, and even goes into it in the book of First Maccabees when it talks about how when Alexander died and his general took over and wickedness multiplied in the earth. Because the Esau Edom basically got put in position, he was in power. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. And it reads, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Who are the poor? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. From the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. You got to look at it like how they created them, put them in positions with the Section 8 and Jake neighborhoods where the man couldn't be in the household. So basically they took away the father and they prey on the women, because our women of our nation, you got a woman with one. I know a female like that right now. She is one woman in the house with 6 kids, all boys. You really think with no man figure around, and the one man that comes around, she chases him off because although he ain't in the truth, but he expect certain things to be a certain kind of way, but because she feels she got the right and the freedom, and they can't figure out why no other man go deal with her though. It's like the Lord code. So Most High allow Esau Edom to set it up where you got Esau basically running our women's households because they got to comply with certain situations in order to get those benefits, which are basically about to be leaving because everything fucked up. People can't, I was just looking at something just recently, like they got little traps and tricks, you know what I mean? They was just talking about, as far as like programs that help you, the government funded programs that help you pay for rent, like rent assistance programs, the funds are drying up because the government don't really got the money. You can see that just because based off of the, like I said, they was only able to fund the government for 45 days or something. So that's like, I think when the government is about to be up again, it's going to be like sometime during November. This very well could be the onstart of that dark winter. So back in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 16, when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. And who are the righteous? The hopeful elect. The righteous literally are those that's trying to, obey and follow the laws, such as commandments of our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, because at the end of the day, with all this wickedness this devil has done, this devil does have a recompense and a reward. He's going to be paid back. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 14. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So, this devil has committed a lot of atrocities, especially to so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. Scriptures talk about because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, because the Lord doesn't pay you back quickly. That just makes you anticipate the judgment. If the Lord waited this long, the judge, your judgment probably going to be horrific. And that's how America's going to be, just completely fucked up. You got to remember, this is a nation of spoiled individuals, that's used to having, used to wasting, used to not having to struggle, That's what Isaiah chapter 26 talks about. We await your judgment. We are waiting to see these things because we know we're not really living. You know, we've meditated on the fact that, we understand why we are suffering these things, and we basically, we understand that we can't get our heaven until we go through our hell, which we pretty much coming to the end of our sentence. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name is Hebrew, is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachak. I'm going to say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. I'm going to say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing its truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. I say shalom to the Akim and the Akwap after listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in a land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. So next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, shalom.